Okay.
Oh, but if you meant like guiding our way out, I forget who did that on the way in.
I did.
There you go then.
Yeah, this is going to be like a... Oh, man. Please hold, because I need to refresh myself on the skills available. I've been playing a lot of 5e lately, and so now it's just messing with my skill lists, mental skill lists.
Ironic, because during this whole time I've made a skill chart for every career and species in the game.
Nice.
Just to determine what the rarest skill combinations were.
So what's it
That's
going to
very
take to get it
interesting.
out of here alive?
$5 from each of you. My PayPal account is...
I like it.
I got like a $2 bill here. That good enough?
practice@gmail.com.
Searching.
The pirate crew is in danger and they need your help. Go get your credit card number, the expiration date, and the 3 numbers on the back and send that in right now.
We tried doing that during Hackmaster, if you remember. That people
I
could
remember.
send in bits or donations to aid or hinder us. Like, here's a spontaneous boss.
Okay. Well, I like searching and observation for this. For basically what I'm picturing is you guys are now trying to navigate your way back to the surface through these twisting caverns. You finding the way you came would be one thing, but you're also trying to navigate this maze while avoiding these echidna that are also hunting for you. And to that end, I think a roll is in order. And I like well, you guys are going to be moving as quickly as you can all move, so I'm actually not going to say speed in this one. I like body, mind, observation, searching. Body, mind, observation. That's right, right? Yeah, right. Okay. All right.
On the system.
Okay.
I'm not a team player. You get a D8.
Using the hashtag system, the best way to find out if I have a skill or not is to start typing hashtag S or hashtag O. Didn't pop up, don't have it.
Yeah, okay.
You could just look at your character sheet.
No, it's faster.
But you do have people helping you.
It's faster than looking at my character sheet.
So you got a D8 and D12 as well.
Oh, well, see, the thing is, Arcloid said it. You didn't.
I typed it right there.
I don't hear typing, Griff. I already told my D8, because again, Arcloid said it out loud.
Okay. All right. So I see 2 successes. So I think basically as you guys are making your way through the dark, pursued at every intersection by the hoots and howls of these echidna, you manage to persevere. A couple times you're making guesses, but they end up being the correct guesses. And before you know it, you are back at the tunnel, the entrance to the surface, where there is that rope that had been attached several weeks prior by Merryweather's crew. And as you all get up the rope, you can hear the growing sounds of the pursuing echidnas, but you manage to make it to the surface before they can catch up to you. And you are once again bathed in the hot early evening sunset of the Inagara. Ah. Okay. Let me drop us back to the main map. So,
Before we leave, rope is valuable. Capital is taking the rope.
okay. Abla is pulling the rope up. There's no sign of your frilled lizard nomad friend out here. Merryweather takes a few labored breaths of surface air, looks at the sun, and then seems to remember himself and rushes over to you, Gaston, and demands to see the scroll case.
I don't believe that was part of the exchange, Captain.
Huh. Well, what use is it to you? This is a personal endeavor of mine. I wish to see it, that's all.
I would quite like to see it as well. I'm interested in some of the results here. But you're hunting. You're sound mind and body, so right now I would say we're even. But if I'm going to share it with you, I think it's only fair you share back with me.
He stiffens slightly, and you can see that although they are unarmed and malnourished, the rest of his crew seems to read this body language and tense up, preparing for a fight.
Now, Captain, that's no way to do things. The vast desert, and I doubt you have very much supplies or very many places to go. We certainly didn't bring enough supplies to walk all the way back to Mandawarin. Even if you did win, what then?
Fair. This is a very fair point that you make. He's seen how you guys held your own against the Echidna, and he does realize that a fight probably wouldn't go very well. It's perhaps the wing on his arm from his first mate that finally pushes his decision. So he will nod and say, "Yes, after all, we are indebted to you for saving our lives. I suppose it is only fair that we should work together. I suppose I could be more open with our ultimate goals here."
Well, we have plenty of time tonight to study then. I have both compass and map. Let's see what we can learn.
He will nod in agreement, and now his earlier hesitation is forgotten with the prospect of actually, of actually getting to see this treasure that he has been searching for. So I assume you guys head back to your ship?
If we want to time lapse all the way to that.
I mean, it's closer to get back to your ship than it is to Mandarinta.
Right, I just thought it took like a day or two to get there.
Sure, yeah, I mean, it's a hike through the desert sands, but you guys managed to make your way out here. I should be at least a little bit more straightforward to make your way back.
Okay. So we can make our way back to the ship, get comfy, roll out the map, have some fun.
Roll out the map and have some fun. Let me quickly
We start bringing
check.
out the miniatures.
That's my tagline to Twister.
Yep. Okay. Quest log. There we go. Dun 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 dun. All right. You roll open the scroll case. You find that there are a number of various charts, sea maps, also some what look to be written accounts, journal entries, etc. As you begin looking through, Merryweather just begins pushing these papers aside, flipping through them, shoving them away. He's got this frantic look in his eyes. He comes to a sheet about halfway down this stack, that is now, it has been painted on yellowing parchment paper. And he goes, "Ha! Yes, this is it." And he spreads it out. It looks to be a navigation, a map of a certain part of the Feranther Seas that was penned by some, who knows, some explorer or perhaps some clerk at Dunwasser. You can see that there is sort of like the Dunwasser seal has been stamped on the corner of this document. And from a cursory glance, you can also tell that the map itself is, well, it's incorrect. It's out of date. There are certain islands that just simply don't exist, or perhaps were wrongfully charted. But this doesn't dampen Merryweather's excitement at all. He says, "Yes, this is it. This is it. And you have the pendant, you said. Please hand it over." And he makes a grasping motion at you.
No, I'm sorry. He wants something out of me? I'm sorry.
He wants the pendant.
Oh,
wants the
yeah, of
pendant
course,
you
of
found.
course. That's part of the whole endeavor here, I imagine.
That line.
Yeah. Okay. With the pendant, he uses it to line up several landmarks on this flawed map and says, "Haha, that's it!" And stabs at the map with his index claw, leaving a little indentation in the middle of the in the middle of the ocean. Essentially, it does not look like it has that, or at least there's no island where this pendant lines up. But it is over here. I believe this is Komodo territory, but I'm not entirely sure. But we're gonna I'm gonna ping the map. It's right under the F in the Feranther Isles. Bing. And I'll put a dot over there as well. Hold on.
Yeah, the dot will probably help out a whole lot here. I'm looking for it.
Yeah. Let me get to the map.
Oh, it's all the way north then.
Yes. Copy, paste. All right. Put it up here, and in fact, we're going to make it red. A red dot.
Ah, there we go.
All right. Cool. Yep. It says there. There lies the prize. Ha-ha! And he begins to sing to himself an old sea shanty tune that you're not familiar with.
Well, I mean, it's no reason not to celebrate anyway. But after a bit of celebrating, maybe breaking out a little bit of alcohol, I will definitely be sure to inform Captain Cow that their research is done. They have found their prize. Now, what would you like to do, Captain?
What's in the ship's hold?
Our hold? Let
Yeah.
me check.
Well, remember, all of our other ships are still at dock, so what's in this ship's hold?
Right.
Depends on which.
Wait, never
which one
mind.
did we take?
Never mind, I forgot. That was our original plan. We, in fact, then changed our mind and took everything with us.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm remembering everything. Everything at once. Oh, yeah. What's in our hold then?
A ton of gold, 2 tons of food, 18 tons of obsidian.
Oh, that's right. We only lost money in our last trade deals.
Everything has still been a gain.
No, remember last time? We lost
Everything
money.
we still got for free in the first place.
No.
Anything we cash out with is still a win.
The series of ports that we hit on our way here, we lost money in our trade deals.
So, Captain, what do you think then?
Anyone ever been to Donarisa before?
Donarisa.
Yeah, it's east of here.
I see.
I meant more pertinently, Captain, about what to do now that we have a treasure map pointing to a location nobody else knows about, except for the three fools who are here.
You are underhanded.
I'm merely thinking ahead. We've done all of our due diligence, we've gone through with every agreement with them. I don't recall any agreement to take them anywhere at all.
Right. But I am a little bit lazy, and I feel like it would just be easier if we, like, drop them off somewhere and let them do all the heavy lifting and then swoop in at the end.
Well then, Captain, in that spirit, might I suggest we offer our services to them? We can simply be side by side with them as they do their work,
You
and do
understand?
nothing more than the mercenary job of protecting them from whatever dangers they might encounter, as it seems they clearly can't do so themselves.
You understand that would still have us do all the heavy lifting? Literally, we could drop him off at a port. He can take his time, assemble a crew, get a new ship, whatever. No, his ship is still back there at the port. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
he can assemble a crew, sail off, go through the whole adventure, rigmarole on his own. Fail, his people can die, his people can stress out, mutiny him, whatever. And then, at the end, when they're pulling the treasure out, we say, hey, that's a mighty nice ship you got there.
I would say that there are perhaps two flaws in the plan, sir, if I might say. The first is that if they do succeed, and we aren't there for it, they could simply have left already before we get there. And the second is we have no idea what is there or how long it will take them either. Scheduling that out, along with our various detours, I'm not sure that'll work.
But you see, I've got this fleck of hair from this green mage I met back. And with that, he's able to contact me anywhere in the world. You wouldn't remember it happened before the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, I have a box that contains all the world's oceans, or something. Uh,
I have a Matterhorn that has all the food we could ever need.
but yes, I suppose this is ultimately what course do we want to take? Our holds are so empty, we could certainly stand to fill them.
Fine sails back to Manawadada. Sorry, we've half covered the name with lines.
We have.
We have.
And it's also kind of an impronounceable name to begin with.
But in which case, Captain, would you like me to make the offer to them?
No, I still think we could sail them back there. And then they've got the one ship. And most of their crew, I think we described as being somewhat AWOL in the city.
He might have some problems leaving in the first place, I think.
Right. Well, we're gonna be there. We might as well set sail now. And look, Gaston, I know you, you know me. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say here. And I'm gonna walk away, and you're just gonna do whatever the fuck you want anyway. So, how about we just split our separate ways, thinking at least that we heard each other out?
Fair enough. But I suppose then we are just sailing back then
Right,
to
I go
the
back.
city
I go back to my
and see
ship.
what happens.
Okay. When you get back to Mandowernta, Merryweather and his crew are quite upset to see that their ship has been taken. The remaining crewmen have disappeared. Perhaps they've been paid off or maybe imprisoned somehow. But that his ships are currently on the auction block. This is going to slow them down somewhat in their plans. With
I
yes,
I do hope you have the funds for that auction, Captain.
he says, funds. I'm not going to pay for my own ship. This is preposterous. And he demands to speak with the whoever is in charge, I guess, which is a bit of a matter of debate. But I suppose the local authorities would have been the ones to sort of commandeer this ship. And it turns out that your old friend, the Knife, is the one who, in addition to running the gambling den, also is in charge of these sort of auctions, shipping auctions.
Ah, good. All he has to do is win it back in a game of luck, which he famously has done several times already. Ah, Captain Merriweather has no luck.
He's got a lot of enthusiasm for what that's worth. But yeah, you don't really owe him anything, I suppose, at this point.
We do know where to go anyway.
That is true. Oh, well, I guess there's still the question of I mean, you both know where this place is, right?
I mean, he's a colonial, though. We just assume slit his throat and leave him in a back alley.
But he could technically give us the slightest air of legitimacy, where before we've been pretending.
We don't... What? I'm sorry, this is like one of those, what? What the fuck did you just say?
Air of legitimacy.
You're just lucky that Madame lost her voice today. Otherwise, she'd be tearing you a new asshole.
What I'm saying is it'll be easier to pretend we're under false flag than to,
The white flag maneuver has been working fine, thank you.
I still think perhaps there are several problems with that, Captain, but...
Hasn't worked, no problem yet.
But seeing as he may not in fact be capable of going to get his, treasure or investigate, what else have we to do?
See, my concern is, in this aspect, does Atlantis belong in a museum? Is it safe to take the treasures of a civilization that doesn't exist anymore?
That no one technically has any relation to?
Right, but then what happens if they did, and we didn't know? Like descendants. What if somebody, like the Isman Peninsula says, oh, actually, this small town has a population that genetically descends from Atlantis?
Well, you know, that'll be for descendants of the future to discover. We're merely uncovering it for the sake of the world and putting it back out there for people to find. You see, we're magnanimous in the end.
Right, setting wrong what once went right. Or the other way around, actually.
And that we happen to profit off of it by selling it to cultural artifact merchants is merely a step towards returning it to their rightful
I just want to remind you that you're on a ship that'll... You'll find a hunk of lead in the back of your head if you keep talking that way. Now, that's not coming from me. That's coming from the other one.
Captain, surely you must have at least some ambition to retire one day. Richer than you started.
Well, I don't want to retire. I want to die on the high seas in a real cool way.
Well, I can't help but think of that very intelligent and nice capybara who had a pool to himself, surrounded by alcohol and plenty of fresh fruit. So there's a goal somewhere out there.
There's a goal. Maybe this is a good time to offer a goal of locate. We'll call it Merryweather's treasure, for lack of a better term.
I also feel like this is what you're describing, Griff. It's basically just how we wrapped up last campaign. Just describe how you think your character would retire. I'll describe how I think I got into a cool sword fight and died.
Death by cool
well,
sword fight.
well, still, so we've been given the goal to actually pursue the treasure. Do you want to take it?
Well, now I have to.
I mean, we can come up with other goals as well, but I think
Well, you
it's
know,
on the
I'm
table.
just saying that
I'll put it out there.
I'm motivated by experience points because they let me do cool things. So I have to follow the experience points. Unless, of course, we did it in that situation last campaign where half of us decided not to do one goal and then the other half of us decided not to do the other goal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's entirely possible situation. I just don't feel like Commodore Cow is the stalwart type to have such motivations that would cause him not to do any specific thing.
Right.
I still like the goal, so I definitely want to take it.
Okay.
Was it typed out somewhere?
It isn't. I'll just type it down in the chat. Just, I guess, find. Yeah, find. Find is the right word. You guys have a mark on a map, but you don't actually.
Right. Because that would be my first solution right there is I look at the map. It's right there.
Right there. Yep.
Found it.
I guess we could say recover, if that makes,
Recover, of course, means we have to take it.
Recover means taking it. Yeah, you don't even know what it is yet, but yeah.
Turns out his treasure was his children all along.
Yep.
Time for a kidnapping.
Was the friends we made all along.
Yeah. It's a music box that reminds him of a girl he once knew.
It's a snow globe.
Yeah, it's a snow globe. It's Rosebud. I think, yeah. Okay, I'll say, but I'll say reclaim. Well, what did I say? Recover Captain Merryweather's treasure. This does, that's a little less ambiguous. We don't know what it is, but hey, you could always ask.
I mean, you could always turn into another R word. Restore his treasure. Give Abla something to do.
There you go. The other thing that I was going to bring up is that we were talking about Treyberry Harbor, right? We rolled up a harbor that had a severe opium problem where the natives were trading cultural artifacts for drugs.
Yep.
And I guess maybe this is a dumb question to ask, but like, what do you see yourselves wanting to do about that?
Well, here's my question there. Is it their own cultural artifacts?
I mean, let's say a very large island. That's probably large enough. Yeah, say yes, it is their own cultural artifacts. Maybe they're stealing some from some neighboring cultures, but
if it's their own,
as you do,
I don't give a shit.
Okay.
I guess the Madame's perspective might be to maybe uncover the opium trade, because that would be the root source of it. It's like maybe save the island, but figuring out where it's sourced from, who's dealing it, how to stop it, that kind of thing.
I don't know.
That would probably be some kind of goal, but that would definitely be something we'd want everyone on board to start talking about.
Do you guys watch Last Week Tonight?
Mm-mm.
Oh, the HBO news show?
Yeah.
Oh, well, because they did a whole thing about museums and specifically cultural artifact trade and how it actually tends to go down in the real world. Specifically, you have like middleman locations where like somebody will be selling cultural artifacts in a third world country from other third world countries, like he's buying and selling, middleman sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was hoping some of you might have watched it so you would have a better memory of it than I do. That's why I also specifically asked if it was their own artifacts, because if there was like a middleman situation happening there, that would probably have gotten the Madame more on board.
Right. I mean, I guess what makes sense to me is that first you trade what you have, right? Like, before a junkie is stealing someone else's money, they're spending all of the money they already have. It's like what is simple and convenient. Once they get to a certain point, that's when you start taking drastic measures and being like, hey, they really like these little tiki figures and we're all out of tiki figures, but the guys next door have tiki figures. We'll just start raiding them. I mean, we were kind of raiding them anyway, so now we'll raid them more.
I think that assumes a certain type of junkie. I mean, remember, sorry, I was about to say Inigo Montoya. Tony Montana. Those two people. Those two famously similar people.
They're always getting confused.
Tony Montana was a junkie. Formed an empire. I think historically, though, we're probably looking more like a China opium thing. And even they were able to overthrow, which means that they were cognizant and able, while not, I'm going to sell off my grandmother's ashes.
Right. I guess more to the point, opium or like the drug trade will specifically destabilize the area or different regions. And it's probably the Madame's goal to not destabilize the region in favor of the colonials.
Right,
Yeah,
I don't have any counter argument against the Madame backing the counter opium thing.
Right. It's yeah.
But again,
I mean,
do
it's
believe
probably.
Sorry, I don't mean to keep talking.
No, go ahead.
I do believe it was a better point that was said before that we should all probably be here for that decision. No, we don't want to. We don't want to assume the Madame's modus operandi. Have Raph come back and that's not really what I'm about.
And I could definitely see that happening. Okay, so we can put a pin in that for now too. That's fine. The reason I ask it all is because I was trying to think about like, oh yeah, there's definitely something to be done there, but then I don't actually know what. So I'd want to like see what your take on the situation is to begin with. So
yeah, so we
got our general stance now, I think.
My last thought was still on China, where they overcame it on their own. It literally became not a destabilizing effect. In fact, created a totalitarian government in the end. So
I don't believe you remember the time where literally European powers were slicing up China.
No, that's literally what happened. Is they got them addicted to opium. Then China said no, none of this, outlawed it, threw it in the ocean. Ironically, that's when Europe came back, threw a hissy fit, started carving it up, and then what did China do? Reformed its whole government into the one that we know of today.
Yeah.
Well, give or take the Mao thing, but I'm just saying that it became a much less stable, brought on by the opium.
Unification through adversity.
Essentially. Now take off your glasses and get on the farm. China.
These are all very interesting notions.
Oh no, that was the Mao thing. Get rid of those intellectuals. Get back to hard labor.
But in that case, we do have the one goal right now,
then. I do love this political cartoon. It's like, anyway, okay. Yep. So yes. So you do have the one goal. I assume the captain is going to have his hands full with getting his stuff back, which would give you a head start if that's something you wanted to do.
Yes, Captain. How would you like to handle this?
Well, what's our current sitch?
We're in port and we're all fine.
What about our crew?
Right. Oh yeah. 2 weeks ago. Let me see. Did I make a note?
Remember, Griff, about 300 people get a share of that rapier.
Yeah. This is true.
It's how we pay them.
We did decide to take everyone with us, so I guess we didn't technically lose any crew.
So what I have written here. Shit. This is why we shouldn't spend some. This is why it sucks to lose stuff. Maybe I should be making better notes.
Mhm.
I do have lost 13 crew member after Inagura.
Yeah, I got that there too.
Okay, so that's taken care of. Then I guess since then, and I want to say that was a result of
Leaving people
basically
behind for like 2 weeks.
yeah, just to like get up to their own nonsense. So, but yeah, other than that though, you have whatever remains of your crew, which I still think you have like 100 people.
A
More than
lot,
that?
a lot.
All right, what about
Yeah.
that guy at the gambling house? What was our... Wasn't there an
Lemuel.
Yeah, wasn't there an
The
end
knight.
deal with him?
Was there an end deal with him? Yeah, did he? Well, he said. Right, what was the negotiation?
I don't remember it happening.
Yeah, no, I remember because you guys were talking about
Remember there was a whole standoff thing because he threatened
yeah,
us?
and then you guys intimidated him, and then somehow it ended up with him giving you charts to find Merryweather in the desert, but I don't remember. Maybe did Merryweather have like an outstanding tab or something like that he wanted to get him back?
I don't remember that. I just remember there was sort of a vague thing that we left off on, like, here's the stuff you wanted because you succeeded the intimidation roll, but here's this other thing because I did try to intimidate you because I had a point. So I
Right.
just remember he had a thing still just like hanging in the air.
I think if I recall right, we just straight up paid him for the map.
Yeah. Okay.
We dumped a lot of money onto
Yeah.
it, so I don't think we had an extra obligation.
That's true. No, I remember that.
I wasn't thinking obligation, I was thinking payoff. I thought maybe there was something there, like we could bring something back, or I don't remember.
Oh, I think you guys still have, you've got a business relationship with this guy now. So if you had something you wanted to try doing, or you could, but I don't think either of you owe each other anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well, here's the deal. Gaston, tell Merryweather, help him get his ship back. That way we can tail his ship when he goes back to the thing.
Wait, okay, you want me to tell him that we're gonna help get his ship back?
Well, I want you to help him get his ship back. You don't have to tell him that, but you can just do it.
Very well then. I shall go ahead and assist Captain Merryweather.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So Merryweather's case that he's trying to make is that he did not abandon his ship. He was being held captive by natives in a secret underground cave. And he fully intended to come back. He also left crew here, and he paid his shipping dues, so there's no reason why his ship should be impounded, essentially. And by all the laws of what is right and good, he should just have his ship back without having to pay anyone anything. And this argument does not immediately seem to gain a lot of traction with Lemuel the Knife. So, let's make a roll. How would you like to assist in this?
I could go ahead and attempt to negotiate, because that is a thing I actually have.
Okay. And what kind of terms would this negotiation entail?
If there was any amount of time that he spent over, then we could agree that he pays the docking fees for those weeks he's extended into. This would be a lesser amount than auctioning his entire ship back.
Right. I would say then let's try a will and negotiation. And I'm going to use a D8 difficulty dice because right now Lemuel's men hold the ship. He feels like he holds all the cards. So he may not want to, but let's see what he's thinking. A 4. All right.
What kind of assistance can I get here?
Well, Merryweather isn't going to be much help. His secretary, who probably needs a name, is sort of like the calm, calculated one. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at my stuff here.
Yeah, is it directory, right? I have a name generator I threw together.
I don't have any insiders or locals at the moment.
Okay.
King of 4 is possible. I just want to make sure I got a couple more die on top of this. But we do have at least the Secretary Bird who can probably assist.
Yeah.
Should I go ahead and add a D8, or you want to roll for them first?
Okay. This is Merryweather's first mate, Honest Erindira. And I'll roll what is this? Will negotiation? Roll 2d8.
Yes.
Here we go. No successes. Sorry. She
None of that
tried.
then. Alright, so I'll go ahead and just roll with what I have right now, and then see if I can roll personality into it, which should be reasonable odds. Let's give it a shot. There you go. I beat the 4 with a 5.
Nice. That is a success.
Perhaps with the slightly implicit threat that there are 3 heavily armed ships in port right now that could do a lot of damage if this doesn't go my way.
I like it.
A deal to just accept a bunch of money instead is definitely much better.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, the knife, considers this and seems to like your style. You got Moxie. He does charge you a figure that is a bit higher than what the price would be based on the claims that he's making. But he says that this is for, the inconvenience of having to wrap up some of his men in the seizure of the boat. Right. And I think it's still within Merryweather's price range. So he is mad, he's not happy about it, but he will agree to pay out of the coffers on his ship.
There you go. At least all's well that ends well, right, Merryweather?
He seems to be in a mood.
Well, if you're ever quite in a better mood, I'm sure you could go gamble for some more.
He storms off. That's what he has to say to that.
Well, I'm still following him for right now. And once he gets a slight bit less grumpy, maybe with a little bit of extra alcohol along the way, pick up a bottle offered up to him.
You will find, yes, that if you search Mandarinta, that you will find him in his cups. Erindira. Okay. Cool. So yeah. You do find him later that night. His ship has been moved back into the general harbor. What remains of his crew is making her seaworthy, but he had a lot of men and he lost a bunch of them. Probably almost all of them, in fact. So he's going to have to recruit some people for a new crew. After trying to speak to him for a while, you realize it's kind of pointless. He's pretty much drunk. When you speak to Arendina, the first mate, she's made arrangements and says that they'll probably be seaworthy in about a week. They'll have a crew put together. They'll have repairs for the ship and provisions for the journey. So that's the timeline they're on.
All right. Let's see. And Cow's orders were to basically assist Merryweather. He's going to be on his way at the very least. But I will go ahead and speak with Aaron some more here and go, well, not to put too fine a point on it, but I would perhaps prefer not to see you all captured once more.
This was a fluke. We have conducted many adventures. And admittedly, our captain can be a bit impetuous and will often get himself and occasionally us into trouble, but he also generally gets us out of it again. I admit that in this case, we are indebted to you for saving us, but, well, the captain has dreamt of this moment his entire life. I will not abandon him now, so close to his goal.
I would never think to ask you to do such a thing. But yet, of course, the question still comes up, what if another situation like that occurs again? Given our assistance was timely last time, perhaps it could be more timely this time.
Are you proposing joining us on our expedition?
Well, it would be... Well, I certainly won't say I don't have a vested interest in seeing what this possible treasure is composed of.
I must confess that I also am curious, for as much as the captain has had his heart set on this goal, he has been tight-lipped about the nature of the treasure he seeks. Something to do with a family heirloom or fortune. Well, perhaps now, in his current temperament, is not the best time to ask, but perhaps now, with the end goal in sight, I can get him to tell us the story.
Ah, that would be delightful to hear. And of course, if he's willing to have our assistance, we do still have three ships that are ready, with men capable of doing all the work, and of course of defending him. It'd be a shame to see if a ship borne down with treasure lost at sea to someone else's cannons.
Well, we are in no position to turn down offers of assistance, but I do believe that I will need the captain's go-ahead before I can, discuss shares. As I said, this is a very personal quest for him, and I'm not sure exactly what his mood will be when it comes to dividing up payment.
Well, that's a matter for us to decide, I suppose. But if we pry him with some more drink, maybe we can get that story after all.
Well, best of luck to you. I make it a point never to drink while the captain is imbibing. However, you're not a member of my crew, and you may do as you wish.
And I'll go ahead and drink to that.
All right. Time to carouse.
Ah, yes, carousing, the thing I famously still don't have.
All right. Nobody's carousing.
But I mean, I am here, I'm drinking, we have the captain here, and I believe there was a fun story to be had.
First you got to get it out of him. Right? So,
I don't
what's
believe
your
any of
approach?
us have gossip.
You guys still don't have gossip? We've been using gossip.
I've been
Gossip is
spending all my
probably...
experience. I bought Maelstrom so I could live.
No, okay. Man, yeah,
I
that
got
makes
so
sense.
many things I need.
Makes sense.
Still need rank 2 of negotiation still.
Hey, if you kill Cow in his sleep. Nice character, would I guess.
I'm waiting for Cal to just jump off into the ocean and we leave him behind.
You wouldn't do that. He can't swim.
Yeah.
Built-in weaknesses.
Yup. But let's see. So, how do we get him to talk here?
Well, when you
Take-
find him, he's engaged in what appears to be a private conversation with an attractive native. We'll say that.
I have the feeling that negotiation will probably go poorly given Merryweather's look. Baby, come here.
It's got famously bad luck. However, even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? But yeah, it does make your approach gonna maybe a little bit difficult.
Right, I'd have gained more attention than her, which yeah, I'm not winning that competition. I'm surrounded by puppies. Help.
attack. It's a quadruped attack. My
Yeah.
quadrupeds are luckily unconscious.
Sounds
so
like a Gorillaz lyric.
yeah.
Puppy attack, yes. Let's see. You know what? Maybe I could go ahead and call an observation. I could wait and watch for the exact moment where I think that the new companion will step away for long enough for me to swoop in.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm
mind
doing a little bit
observation.
more of barging my way in.
Yeah.
So let's see. I guess call that mind observation.
That's what I would call it.
Let's give it a shot.
That is one success.
Yep, 1.
Okay, as you observe the scene, you get the impression that the lady is entertained by Merryweather's sort of definitely flirtatious overtures. But but from your personal experience, you can tell there's no way on earth he seals the deal. Like, as soon as she gets bored, and she's going to get bored with this really quick, she's out of there. Merryweather, however, seems to think that he is getting lucky because he is pouring all of himself into this very animated description of a sea battle, and this girl seems more interested in, guessing when he's going to knock his drink over again. That kind of thing.
You know what would be funny then? What if I were to give a couple of dinar to one of my crewmen to flag the woman down instead?
I mean, sure. They're your crewmen, depending on. I imagine they just they just listen to you. You've been a pretty reasonable. I don't know. Are you a captain of one of the ships? I think it's reasonable to say that they would just do this for you. You're not asking.
I'm the advanced first mate, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. You're not asking them to put themselves into any kind of mortal danger. Just
I'm saying, here's some extra cash. Have some fun. Look, there's a beautiful woman over there.
That's well. So here's what happens. That transaction goes down. What species of crew member are you handing this to? I know you got orcas and sharks. You got some lizards you picked up.
Yeah, we got sharks,
believe.
orcas, and lizards, and then some random folk, supposedly.
Ganguo. Okay, so yeah.
You know what? Let's go ahead and make it a lizard.
Okay, yeah. So the lizard strides up and asks the lady if she'd like a drink, some private company. This obviously gets Merryweather in sort of a boisterous mood. He says, the lady and I were having a conversation. Be gone, rascal. And the lizard puffs up his chest and says, you're You're boring her half to death, and you realize that this looks to it might cause a fight imminently. Apparently, Merryweather can be kind of a boisterous, fighty drunk.
Oh, well, a fight was my backup plan, so this is going great.
Okay, well, Merryweather stands or tries to stand as best as he can, and manages to shove the lizard back a few paces. The girl takes this as a cue to put a lot of distance between herself and what looks like it's about to be a bar brawl. And you can see the general interest in the place sort of focuses in on this threat of violence.
And I suppose now might be the attempt to see if I can talk him down, now that it's a high threat. And then draw the captain away with me. Now, there's no need for any of that. You've had a bit too much to drink. Come on, we can get you back to your ship together.
It's not done, I'm still drinking.
So I guess this would be an attempt at negotiation.
Yeah.
Well, at least one success there.
One success. He says, You saved me in that bone cage. Don't think I've forgotten. But Captain knows when he's had enough, and I have not yet had enough. So I'll follow you back to the ship, but the next round is on you.
I suppose I have to agree to these terms. Harsh as they may be. But you're a generous captain nonetheless.
Great. A bottle of that stuff. They make fine stuff here, made from cactuses, I think. You're buying. And apparently this cactus ale is pricey stuff. But you can afford it.
Yep, just gotta keep dipping into the ship funds.
I know, right? So, armed with a bottle of tequila, you head back to the ship. What would you like to discuss?
I imagine we can at least talk a little bit about what his plans are, how things are going to go, and if he might need additional assistance. Or really, what about this whole map thing? You've based your whole time out here about it. You've risked life and limb for it. What's so important about it anyway?
He says, it's my birthright. Did you give him the pendant and the map back?
Yeah, I think I did that several days ago at this point.
Okay, so yeah, so then he's sort of like just messing around with this pendant. He's wearing it around his neck again. He says, it's my birthright. My grandfather, my great-grandfather told me tales. And,
Precious.
I always knew them to be true, but I never imagined that I would get to lay my own eyes upon the treasure. But yes, it is. He kind of like gets lost in thought and rambles. He only ever refers to it as the treasure. He never gets specific. And if you try to steer the conversation in that direction, he begins to get evasive. I suppose you could try an inquiry. Inquiry, right?
Well, I could try a different tactic and ask him
Or a
about other
different
things,
tactic.
because you say this is a birthright of yours. Are you some noble by birth?
That's a good question. You know what? No. He clarifies that this birthright is that his great-grandfather discovered this treasure, and knowing that it would be taken, claimed by the admiral of his fleet, he and his companions felt that they were owed it, right, for the horrors that they had seen during their expeditions, and so he hid it using the map that they had at the time, and this pendant that he had forged to serve as the key. So technically, he's not nobility. This is sort of like but this is like a family heirloom. At least that's how he sees it.
A payment long overdue, then.
Indeed.
Hmm. And what would you do once you received all this payment?
Well, I've always fancied myself striking out on my own, free to pursue my own interests. Currently, I have made several friends within the Bisclavret Navy, and they have allowed me to pursue these in my own endeavors from time to time. But really, I yearn for the freedom to chart my own course.
Ah, is the ship not yours then?
Well, it is mine by title, but again, I take orders, as we all do. However, I find that despite their poor hygiene, lack of discipline, I find myself feeling jealousy of the average pirate and privateer that is free to pursue their own petty interests. If only I could travel from place to place, finding new adventures, meeting new people, seeing things that no man of the Bisclavret Navy has ever seen before. Well, what a life that would be.
You sound like Captain Cow now. Nothing but freedom and adventure on the open sea.
Yes, your kangaroo. I suppose I envy him too. What is going on here?
Oh, finally getting a little stuck.
Sorry, no, I'm reading what Ark is posting.
Oh.
Just weird random shit.
Okay. Well, let's see. Follow phrase that should probably be. Well, I guess you two being of similar mind, he is interested in helping you. He wants nothing but the best for your journey. And you are but one ship.
Indeed we are. This is true. Well, I had always intended to do this alone, or with those whom I trust. I fear that well, as I said, this is my birthright. I am quite protective of the treasure. I suppose if there is any coinage I could see, well, I could see splitting some shares, but you'd understand that mostly I intend to claim the bulk of the treasure for my own.
Of course. Our dealings have been fair and forthright so far. I have no interest in robbing you. Were I to do that, we could have simply set sail before you ever did.
I suppose this is true. You are a I have no reason to distrust you. After all, I do owe you the life and the life of my men, so well, why not? You make a compelling argument. So he gets conspiratorial now. He like looks around to make sure that you're alone. Yeah. He says,
It's me and him on his ship.
Yep, yeah. I mean, I think that you've made some very fair points. He's also very drunk. And to continue this conversation, he's going to have to let you in a little bit more detail. He says that back more than 100 years ago, before the time of his great-grandfather, the Bisclavret built the finest ships. I mean, they still do, of course, but back then, there were true artists of the craft. They were building enormous, majestic galleons designed to discover new worlds. And that these ships were, that of these ships, there was a prize, a jewel that was crafted for a great and wealthy baron. it set sail and discovered many lands and grew heavy with the treasure that they procured from all of their adventures. Right. This ship was subject to a curse from one of these native lands that they raided. Essentially, a curse was a plague that killed everyone on board and still left the ship itself unharmed, moored in an unnatural fog, hidden from all, but still containing the great wealth. The ship itself, though, is the true prize. One of the finest vessels to ever set sail. Despite its age, it was built to last, and, well, if the stories are to be believed, the ship should still be... It had, like, some sort of supernatural quality to it. Again, maybe from all of the great riches and sacred artifacts that were consolidated on its deck. It was able to withstand any storm, survive any onslaught, and so he believes that it still now rests anchored in these cursed waters. Bereft of a crew, still laden with treasure, and that if he could find it, that the ship would be his. That the treasures, obviously he would take the lion's share, but that from the great treasure he could see dividing shares among those who would help him. So he would offer you, as you be providing multiple ships and the crew that he required to make the journey, a third of the treasure. But he would keep the ship and he would keep 2/3. And then it would be up to you to determine what shares you would take for yourselves and for your crew out of that third of the treasure that you find.
Right. Perhaps we could more finely negotiate it once we know what we actually have in stock. But for now, the terms would be agreeable.
Okay, all right. Spits in his paw and extends it towards you.
Yeah, Gaston does that double take of, but then reaches out anyway.
All right. The handshake is slimy but firm, and you, I guess, dearly hope that he remembers this contract, essentially, his verbal contract the next morning, because this tequila stuff is strong.
Well, I can definitely write it down for him.
Okay. You can take a signature.
And it's like, oh, I can't read my drunken handwriting now.
I know, right? In the morning, you
I need to get
realize
drunk
that you
again
guys
to read it.
like were both so drunk that the terms of this contract were like you basically lay claim to every candelabra that you find in the treasure, but then like he's claimed all
I'll
of
leave
the.
that to my excuse to renegotiate later.
There you go. Okay.
Well, we were both pretty drunk at the time. Do you remember what the terms were? I don't either.
I think you have harder concerns than that. I spent a drunken night with Meriwether. Now my hand is all slimy.
Alright, so, Cal, I will report back to you, give you the sort of deal we have going forward, and his plans. Everything is now in your hands now, your decisions. You go ahead and take the lead.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I am a pirate that sails under the white flag. So, we can all see where my acumen is going towards keeping deals. Specifically, Pirates 1 had that. You lied! Pirate!
No one said you had to, but this is what people know right now. Do with that as you will.
Yeah. I mean, the whole point of lying on deals is making sure that nobody knows about it afterwards. So far, it's gone pretty well.
Right?
Indeed.
So, Captain, you're in charge.
Probably figure out what Meriwether's ship actually is, since we're about to go on a voyage with it.
Yeah.
While Gaston was doing the negotiation and getting drunkard, I guess this would have been a good time for Abla to refresh her Kohatu trappings.
Ah, yes, you need to get your stuff back because you.
Yes.
So
Replacing the sword and I think 2 axes.
gotcha.
And then building 2 new javelins. Oh, no, 1 new javelin.
All right. In that case, I guess question: are you guys going to wait for them to hire up a new crew, or are you going to lend some of your crew to his ship? Both are viable options, I guess.
How much crew do we have to spare is the question right now.
I don't think we
Right.
have extra, do we? I think
feel
we
like
have
you guys-
We
exactly
did
what
have
we
a
need.
small bit of extra.
Tapped up.
Well, then we
Top
would
off.
also need to know the size of his ship and its crew requirements to even be able to answer that.
That's very true, and that's why I'm trying to look up something right now. Ships.
Yeah, the answer might be we're
Ships of the
very
trade
much
lane.
at exactly where we need to be right now.
That's what I thought. Because we went with the minimum number, which was the only real number you have with these ships.
Okay.
You better not be pulling dates out of your pocket, Griff.
Mm-mm.
Now I'll pull again next.
I like this. Okay. Let's say he's got a merchant galley. Merchant galley is on page 61 of the PDF, page 953. It is a middling ship with a crew of 100. While galleys are primarily for war, they're still large ships. They can still hold large amounts of booty. The merchant galley is popular with imperialists and colonizers, with its mix of devastating firepower and cargo space.
Cool.
In which case, we can't field 100 people for him. And without, like, straight up abandoning a boat of ours.
Yeah, we're not doing that, so we're just going to wait.
Okay.
In the meantime, I'm going to think of what my new flagship's name is going to be.
Mm-hmm. If he probably needs a name for it for its current name. And along those lines, did I come up with a ship?
Merryweather's
Name?
Compensation.
Well, it's a little wordy.
Well, it's only because half of it is half of his name. It's
Yeah.
very... I mean, is it supposed to be short?
It doesn't have to be short, no.
I thought these things were just to signify the difference between one ship and another. You know,
I mean,
like
yeah.
how there was a Revenge and a Queen Anne's Revenge. 2 different ships. One was Steed's Bonnet ship and the other one was Blackbeard's ship. Ironically, Queen Anne's Revenge was named after he was done sailing on the Revenge.
I did not know that. Okay. We're going to call this the Intrepid. Maybe not the most original, but hey, he's not that creative. He's a colonial.
Of course.
Of course. Say, Intrepid merchant galley, and I'm just going to copy paste this into the into our ship directory once I get it open. Pirate fleet. This technically isn't in our pirate fleet, but you know, it's where we're keeping all of our
Good
boats.
to have on
so,
board because it's coming with us.
Yeah.
He's got the funds to hire a new crew? Or the pull? Well, I don't know. He's a colonial. They get paid.
They do.
So does he have the funds to hire a new crew?
Let's say yes. Yeah. I won't make you guys hire
He
him.
didn't
a
have to
crew,
spend
that'd
it
be
all on the
silly.
auction, so...
Well, no, it wouldn't be a point of us hiring crew for him.
Yeah.
It would be us selling him on the idea. Sorry. When I brought up Stede Bonnet, the thought occurred to me of something Blackbeard literally did to Stede Bonnet in real life, which
Yeah.
was to be a temporary captain on his ship while he recovered from something. So, if we were able to sell Merryweather on one of us being the captain of his ship for some reason, we could then fill the crew ourselves with our own people without him having to do that. And once again, I'm taking actual real world precedent on the matter and not just making this shit up half-cocked.
Okay.
I think at the very least he would at least try to be aware of having people he can't trust on his ship right now. That's at least the minimum of what he said, even while drunk.
Right. At the same time, though,
Yeah.
this did work on one real-life person, so...
We just need to find someone even more foolish.
I'd say it's a really hard sell, but I'd let you make a negotiation roll for it if you wanted, against some difficulty dice, to convince him to let you temporarily captain his ship and crew it with your own people. If that's something you want to do, we can roll for it. But I feel like Merryweather, kind of a hothead, kind of very obsessed with this particular, like, this is his mission. He's allowing you guys to tag along. So you'd have to make a very compelling argument for him to go with it.
Do you have negotiation, Gaston?
I got my D4 still.
I think that probably makes you the best at this.
Boy. Okay. Pull up the... Well, let's see. Actually, I'm sorry. I know this is a delay. I want to just quickly check my reference because I know that like resisting something is also a skill. So like negotiation.
Oh yeah, no, it's a long shot like hell. This guy probably never gonna go for it, but you know,
But it could happen.
yeah. Like I said,
Maybe
literally,
this is the opposite direction to go for. Instead of convincing them to let us choose for them, what I could do is use my own negotiation to find people I can hire and tell them, I'm going to give you money to go get hired by this ship.
well, this is more about the let us captain your ship part, less so than the let us hire your crew part.
Well, I'll just say, and I'm not saying we're changing gears here, but I do really like the idea. There's something very piratey about like you basically setting up a dummy crew that's really loyal to you. Like that's very Treasure Island, right? Like that's fantastic.
Well,
But okay.
I will
We can still
say,
try both, but
Yeah.
well, I will say the thing that happened in real life was that the crew saw the better of two captains and sided with the person that was more likely to have them succeed. So a lot of them abandoned Stede Bonnet after serving under Blackbeard. Because obviously you guys know who Blackbeard is. You might not know who Stede Bonnet is.
Yeah.
Gentleman pirate.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely, this is a situation where like they're in this, like these men have seen these captains both doing their captain thing. They've been in tested situations with each other. They're probably pushed to a point where it's like, well, it's one or the other, and
They
if
hung
we
in
choose wrong,
cages.
we die.
Hung in cages over a water service with the rest of their crew dead.
Right, yeah. So, but like the new crew that would be hired wouldn't have such connections and maybe more easily swayed by bribes, things like that. So yeah. But so the matter at hand of negotiating the temporary change of command. I'm rolling 2d10 and watch me roll double ones. I can feel it. It's coming.
here's my attempt at that. 5. Nope, doesn't make any headway.
Yeah, he
Take the
rolled
10.
very good. He rolled very well.
Okay, so yeah.
Wait. Oh shit, never mind. I was gonna say, I have luck I forgot. I have to be.
You're not the one rolling.
Yeah, I have to be involved.
Right. Okay.
I guess the next one then for attempting crew then. He just rejects it. That's fine.
Yeah.
So-
No, he needs to be command of his own ship. He's gonna find trusty, seaworthy folk to man it.
I would say part of the negotiation would have been like, yeah, you put us in charge. They won't know that this is your boat anymore. And that way,
Ugh.
nobody will know that you're heading off there and won't be able to follow you to there. But I also assume I would have said that, and we failed anyway, so it wasn't a good selling point.
So of
The
all
hidden
things,
crew.
I have managed to botch the roll to find people for the hidden crew, and I'm going
Oh
to go
my.
ahead and choose a favored use for negotiation at this point, which is going to be finding crew. I will re-roll the d6 and get a 2 so that I merely fail. And
Okay.
for fun, since this is still a new day and I may as well, I'll roll personality to see if I can get 1. 1. There we go.
Okay. All right. So I'll say that you find that a lot of the for having such like a multicultural community here, and there's not a lot of people you would consider to be like the pirating sort. The kind that would, sell their grandmothers out for a few denarii. You do manage to impress upon a meager handful of mercenaries, of entrepreneurs who are, we're looking to sign up with a vessel anyway, and are more than willing to take some extra payment on top for knowing who the true captain is. I'd say that you could get yourself like 5 Marines who would be willing to insinuate themselves into this crew of like 100 people, but would take orders from you over the captain. I don't know if that's enough to start an insurgence.
Probably not,
Sorry.
but maybe enough to cause a problem if we really want to.
It's enough to kill
Yeah.
them.
So, at the very least, I will set up a singular signal that if I give it, they may as well just go for the captain or try to take over.
Okay.
And I'll just go ahead and leave that as needed. How much will they cost? How much is the bonus worth here?
Right, that's a good question. I mean, mutiny, if caught, or being held for mutiny, I think the punishments are rather severe.
Yeah, but safe harbor.
Safe harbor?
You said Marines, right? Which means
Yeah.
they can swim. We're gonna be
Oh.
in the flotilla. Jump off the boat. Safe harbor.
Oh, that's a fair point. Okay. Well, let's say you got 1 success, right? You didn't get more than 1 success. Let's say like 80 denarii a head. These guys are
Okay.
treasure hunters, so yeah. And I
So
said
80 per.
80 per, yeah. Did you have, so you had 5, 400?
400, yep. There we go. More coming out of the ship pocket. But hey, cool. We
Not the
got
money.
5 people on board to do what we need.
Now to enter into sunk cost fallacy. We have to use them now. Even if we
Well, better that we have them than not have them and need them,
Even if we become good friends by the end of the adventure. Sorry, dude. I spent 400 dinar. I gotta use it.
Right? Okay. So a week goes by. There's some skullduggery. There's also a multicultural crew of sailors from around the Faranther Isles, now manning the intrepid Merryweather's galleon alongside the rest of your fleet. You are ready to set sail. The course proposed is to resupply when you hit the Isle of Regsalu. And then to head out north
Is Rexel
into
the name of the
Cursed
isle?
Waters. Sorry? Regsalu is the name of the isle.
I thought it was the
it's
name
this-
of the water. Yeah, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you're right. Bridgeal Seas, Regsalu, right. So this is...
I don't know. That one says Southern Isles, though, so maybe you're right. Never mind.
Yeah, I wonder.
I don't think
Well-
the islands end up having names here, usually, it seems.
Right. So maybe they plan to make an actual stop at, like, Costa Mina. I think Hangakore is a sunken city. Like, this is like a dungeon or like a treasure hunting spot. I believe
Yeah, I think
though
it might be a
this is a
special
real
place,
place.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Well, we'll look that up. So yes, so that is the proposed route. The one that our first mate, Erendira, suggests. Oh,
Nothing but open seas. I don't see a problem with this.
exactly. Um. So at this point, we're kind of dancing on the edge here. We've got a half an hour left to our session.
This is honestly a good point to just start a debrief then.
If you guys want to, the alternative is I can throw some bad weather at you, and we can make some ship rolls if you want. But
No, it is the name of the island, Rexel.
Regsalu. Okay,
Oh,
cool.
There you go. Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine with just talking and debriefing.
Okay. If you guys are, then
We
maybe
can
we
save-
should do that.
We can save the adventure for next time. Gives you some time to prep what's ahead too. So it's all good.
That'd be nice.
Trust
Yeah,
me, I
we
know.
could use-
I know.
Fine with
Oh,
it.
we
Get in
also
my
have
pants.
that gift to talk about too. We just accomplished a
did complete.
goal.
A goal, yes. The goal in question was rescue. I believe it was rescuing Merryweather. Yes, rescue Captain Merryweather. For which, I would. Well, I mean, so the obvious one is Insider with Merryweather's crew. I mean, you did save them, and they do owe you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really applies here. Favored use, bashing open bone cages. Yeah. Yeah, I think Insider with Merryweather. We'll say Merryweather's crew, right? They are indebted to you.
Hey, there we go. So now we do have the inside scoop too with our spies.
So selling that back
Okay.
gives me
I
5
probably need to hold
XP.
on to that for at least a session here, I think.
That gives me 5 XP. I'm just gonna bring it up now, because the 2 XP for the session
Yes.
will push me to 11. So I'm just gonna buy Claws of Iron
Oh, cool.
Ooh, what's that
Okay.
get you?
+1 damage to
Ooh,
Claws.
very nice.
What was the gift?
The gift is Insider with Merryweather's crew.
Ooh, okay. I don't need
Yeah,
that.
damage to critical makes them better than short swords. That's actually really good.
Yep. It's my default weapons now.
Mm.
So I can punch if I don't want to really try and kill them. And I have claws if I do want to try and kill them.
Cool. We'll do debriefs and stuff, but I want to start off because so when we started this, I was intending it to be kind of a short mini campaign. We could test out some of the stuff. My goal was always to have this Merryweather's treasure be sort of like the end goal of the campaign, and we've been
Yeah.
playing for about 10 sessions now, and is finally on the docket.
Makes
So
sense.
yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking. So we might be nearing the end of this arc. I'm not opposed to maybe doing more with these characters at another time if someone else wants to take over, but this might be where I take a break. My ass is being kicked by work, and the morning sessions are, well, they're starting to take their toll a little bit.
Yeah, I can see it's really wearing on you. Work sucks.
Yeah, I work night shifts, and on weeks where I don't get scheduled on Tuesday, it's not a big deal. on weeks like this week, it kicks my ass, man. So
I do think Rafferty said that they were interested in running something, so that would open up the moment.
and
So
personally,
we can get back on that conversation, I think.
yeah, I wouldn't mind playing. I haven't played I haven't played a PC in Ironclaw in quite a while.
Mhm.
So if we can get something like that going, I would be more than happy to jump in. But
There you
yeah,
go.
but assume that this is going to be like a couple more sessions, and then we'll table it for a little bit.
Yep, we could even have our big pirate betrayal scene too.
Hell yeah! Oh no, don't worry. There's still twists and turns and drama to be
Mhm.
had. But yeah, but the end goal is in sight now. So having said that, debrief. Griff, I've got you on screen, so why don't
Yeah.
you debrief for us?
Let's see. I was definitely a little bit worried about the fight just because we had the Madame who was injured, and so getting Maelstrom was a good idea. The primary thing on my mind is like my character build, and that this is very uh feature heavy kind of stuff that I tend to do, which means that I'm behind on skills like having gossip and such.
Right. Yep.
But I know you're trying to work as best as you can with a limited feature set over here. So I appreciate all the turns you're trying to make it happen.
Yeah, I'm glad the fight could go well. I had always planned for it to be kind of like a tiered thing. Like these guys have the home turf advantage, so they have no problem falling back, regrouping, and coming back for you guys. If you had not scored so many successes in freeing the dudes, finding the loot, and escaping, there would have been follow-up combat. But no,
I
I'm
just
pretty much
needed a
happy
double
with the way
botch
it
on
went.
something. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But you guys were rolling pretty well, and I like that. I think it's dramatic tension. I hope you guys didn't think the Echidna were too beefy. They were elites, and Boomerangs kick ass. But even then, I don't think they gave you too much trouble.
Yeah, it does just bring to mind that I'm basically not that much better than a fighting elite and technically atypical everywhere else.
Yeah, I do think that Abla is definitely like. Well, I mean,
Y-
Captain Cow
Our
also.
specialists get to show off. The people who are really good at the things that they do.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of Captain Cow, why don't we pitch it over to Theta?
Yep, I love to pitch. Sometimes catch.
Sometimes catch.
Yep. What are we in debrief? Sorry.
Yes. Sorry. Debrief. Yep.
Yeah, so Captain Cow. Kangaroo, as you mentioned before. Sail Warrior. I mean, I had no problem with any kills. You know I love a hard fight. Chinchillas. What were they called?
Echidnas.
Echidnas. Yeah, Knuckles.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, you
They
know,
look exactly like Knuckles.
I like a fight that's so hard, Raph has to come in and tell you how fighting should happen.
There you go.
That's
Yep.
the only times I start losing. Raph has to start giving tactical advice.
Yeah. Wow. Yep. I mean, that is one thing. And we've gone back and forth on this. Raph and I is that I feel like maybe not all groups, but definitely with this group, when you're playing, you guys are very mechanically minded in this game. You build characters that hit like freight trains, so sometimes challenging you is challenging. And is also my general strategy, right, is to be like, okay, what kind of people are involved in this, you know? It would be the simplest thing to be like, oh yeah, look, all of these echidna are supernauts, but that doesn't make sense to me.
Right. Is this the appropriate thing that exists in this place?
Exactly. And like I can see in this case, I was like, well, these are like sacred guards for a holy site. They are natives to this area, and they are like a warrior caste. So then I could say like, okay, they could be elites. That's fine. Even an army of elites of like a dozen elites couldn't hold ranks against you guys. And that's where we get into territory of like your enforcers, right? Like your D10s and stuff. These are like the heavy hitters. But anyway, but also it has not been a supernatural game. You guys haven't been squaring off against undead or elementals or anything like that. And those offer their own challenges as well. We'll see
We've
what
got a
happens.
clearly
but-
haunted ship coming up, so
I mean, it's clearly haunted, so yeah. We'll see if that makes any meaningful difference. But yeah, anyway. Ark, you got anything to add in the debrief?
Well, I had a good time today, and sorry that Ref missed it, and I'm going to be a little sad. I'll admit that the campaign's got to end, but then I totally understand that you have your life to live, and you got to take care of yourself. So yeah, it's all good, man.
Well, thank you. I'm really happy that we got to try this out, and I learned a lot about this game, and I can't wait to get the book. I don't know where we are with that, but I imagine it's coming up pretty soon. I think last we spoke, Raf said that we were going to print. So yeah. So I'm really enjoying the game. I would like to actually play in it though. It's been a while, and
if I get some of my own stuff going, I'm definitely gonna make sure you're there.
yes, I would love that. So definitely keep me in the loop. I was considering Rafferty. He's running games on Start Playing now, I believe. And I was considering signing up for those too. This is a timing thing, but like once I free up some time in my week, I can shift things around to make time elsewhere in the week to do more games. All I do is play games. Okay. Well, anyway, I know we started a little late. We're leaving a little early. I apologize for the short session. This is on me. But I'm looking forward to next week. I have some good stuff prepped for you guys at that point. And until then, thank you all for playing and have a good week, right?